Hey guys, welcome back. I am working on this MTD Snowblower again. I started working on it in my spare time in, I guess, February of this year, and as spring approached, I stopped working on it because I got a lot of lawnmowers and things like that to work on. But it is now Halloween, and Snowblower is still not done. I think we got it to run last time, and it ran okay, but I think it was surging at full throttle, if I recall correctly. I think what I want to do right now is I think I want to basically get the engine running very smoothly. I want the carburetor to be completely done, the engine to be running, all of that taken care of. I got the carburetor off again, and I also had bought a carb kit for it. Let's take this thing apart and let's give it a really good once over. I have the carburetor back apart. I went over, I cleaned out the jet again. I poked a wire through the orifice. I took out the idle, the idle restrictor screw and cleaned that out again. Gave the bowl a once over, and I'm back at the carburetor, and I started spraying out the idle circuit. So there's an idle circuit here on the side that you can kind of spray out, try and get to if you can. But I want to take this emulsion tube out and see what we have in terms of O-rings and all of that. This carburetor in general is pretty petrified. Oh, yeah, came right out. You know, some of them are easy and some of them are not. This one happened to be pretty easy. Let's see if this will take it out. Always something, isn't it? There we go. I was able to grab it with this plier. And of course, the top O-ring sticks in there. These O-rings look like they've seen better days though, so I'll replace those. Let's see if I can get this O-ring out of here, this top O-ring. There it is. Top O-ring. I'm just going to respray everything. I'll bring you back when we're ready to put it back together. So as part of the idle circuit, there are a couple of passageways there. You can see there on the side of the carburetor. Those are part of the idle circuit, and I tried to get those sprayed out as well. I just try and get in there with a I bent one of these tubes and I try and spray in sideways through there and get a lot of carb cleaner through there. I tried to spray it out as best I could. Let's put it back together and see if it'll run well. Alright, let's put this back together. I'm going to use some pieces from the new carb kit. This thing is so rusty and had a lot of water in it. So I hope this carb can be rescued, but you know, sometimes they don't come back to life. I fished the O-rings out of the bag of carb parts. So let's put the emulsion tube back in. Seat the first O-ring like that. And we will seat the second O-ring on the end, just like that. And then we stick the emulsion tube back into the carburetor, just like so. And then once you have it in, you just push it down with a punch like this. till it seats. And you should be seeing the tube come up through the center. There, you can see it right there. Orange top protruding. Make sure it's seated. That's all there is to that. The original bowl seal that was on this is actually pretty good. It's pretty flexible and not, it's not brittle or anything. I think that it was replaced by the previous owner in an attempt to get the carb bowl to stop leaking. So I'm gonna leave well enough alone and keep that seal on there. And I will replace it if it ever becomes a problem. There. And then the bowl, I try and line up this semicircle with the semicircle of the float. So just like that. Like that. Then I'm going to use a new seal there. And bowl nut. Idle restrictor screw. And the choke lever back on. Back together. Let's put some gas in it and see if it'll run smoothly now. Let's give it a choke. Let it warm up a minute. Still something wrong with the carburetor. On partial choke like that, it runs smooth and fine, but at no choke it does not, so not sure. New carburetor maybe? Ultrasonic cleaner? Let me think about it. So I've about had it with this carburetor. It just does not want to run smoothly, so I think I'm going to go with the ultrasonic cleaner. And I'm going to disassemble this carburetor piece by piece and stick it into the ultrasonic cleaner and see what we get. So the carburetor is pretty much taken apart. I figure that since I'm having so many problems with this carburetor, I'm going to pull out these Welch plugs and pre-clean the passages and then stick it in the ultrasonic cleaner and let it do its thing and then put new Welch plugs back in. The way I'm going to go about pulling these Welch plugs out is I'm going to mark it like that, and then I'm going to drill it very carefully and just poke through, and then I'm going to try and pry it out. I'm going to be very ginger about it so I don't damage the carburetor as I punch through it. I'm just about through. I can see it. There. And I didn't even hit bottom on that one, so that is good. And I got this small punch. I think it's a 3/32 punch. And I got it through the hole and I'm just working it through like that. Not terrible inside. A little bit rusty and stained, but nothing too bad. Let's get this next one out. There, we're through. I'm gonna make that hole a little bit bigger so I can get something a little bit bigger in there so I'm not bending my screwdrivers and punches. Let's try a bigger punch now. See if that'll get us what we need. Definitely a stubborn one. There we go. Well, that popped out. That was pretty stubborn. This is actually a pretty thick Welch plug. Any case, got it out with minimal damage in there. I definitely touched it with the drill, but nothing bad. So all of these passages in here, I'm gonna blow those out with carb cleaner first, and then we will take it to the ultrasonic cleaner. I have the carb in the ultrasonic cleaner. This ultrasonic cleaner, it was free, and beyond turning it on and seeing that it actually turned on and vibrated, I really don't know much about it. I have the manual to it. It's on mode 1, which is high power mode for 15 minutes. I know that the water heats up. I'm not sure that the sensor, the temperature sensor, the thermocouple in there is working quite right. But in general, it does work. It's really meant for circuit boards, so this thing is kind of sticking out of the top and I can't put the cover on. But it's better than nothing. I have in it, I think the capacity is 5 liters. Somewhere around there. I have about 4, maybe 4.5 liters in it, and I have, I guess, about 20% crud cutter and 80% water mix in here. Crud cutter is a general purpose degreaser. It takes off tar and oil and things along that line. I know some people like Musty One use the actual pails of carb cleaner in here, and I know that Bruce Pender uses, I think it's Green Power or something along those lines, which is similar to crud cutter. I don't have either of those two. This is what I had, so this is what I'm going to use, and we will see what it does. I turned it on. It's supposed to heat up to what you set it to. Well, I set it to 50 degrees C, and then once it's heated up to that temperature, it will engage the ultrasonic cleaning mode and it will run for the specified time here, which is 15 minutes. It also looks like, turns out that I can put the cover on upside down. Better than nothing. Looks like it's working. We'll let that cook and see what happens. Carburetor I left in the ultrasonic cleaner for about 45 minutes, and it seemed to get pretty clean, although it discolored the aluminum. It doesn't rub off either, and that happens with when you leave aluminum in a degreaser for a long time. I'm not so worried about it. This is a last-ditch effort to try and save this carburetor, but it did a fairly decent job. And you can see the jet here. It actually made it quite nice. It's pretty shiny. It's pretty clean. I blew everything out with air. I wiped off the water and blew it all out with air. It's pretty good. The bowl again is aluminum and it kind of got dulled by the degreaser, but hey, you know what? What can you do? So to put the Welch plugs back in, you take the Welch plug from your carb kit. You just set it in there like that. And then I take a nice thick punch, brass punch here is what I'm using. It's 5/16, and you just tap down on it until it kind of gets flat and it seats itself into the opening. So just like that, that basically installs it. It's not going to pop out or anything like that. So that's all there is to it. So that's one. And I'm going to install this one over the idle mixture area. And I'll put the car back together and we'll give it a start. Here's the idle one installed. That one was kind of a tight fit, so I had to tap it around the edges to get it to seat. That's why it's kind of meatball-y there. The carb is back together and it's back on the snowblower. Let's see if it'll start. Any bets to whether it's going to run correctly? So I've played with the governor settings and governor spring down here. I tried different holes and I moved this arm from this hole into this hole. There's some marginal improvements, but nothing significant. So I have the carburetor back apart and I have the jet out, and it's 169 is the number on the jet. And this is, right here, I have a set of micro drill bits, and this is number 72, it looks like. So number 72 just fits through. It goes all the way down. I don't have to force it or anything, so it just barely fits through. And 73 does not, so I am going to drill it out to number 73, and we'll start from there, and we will see if that does anything for us. I have my number 71 drill bit loaded, and I'm just gonna, this is pretty soft stuff, it's just brass. So I'm just gonna drill that out till it's nice and smooth going through there. There we go. And then I'm going to, that really wasn't that much. I think it was kind of between a 71 and a 72. We might have to go to a number 70. But I'm gonna try it beforehand. I don't want to make it too big. So I'm gonna go blow that out with compressed air, and then we'll try it. Here we go, 070. So this is definitely larger than that jet. right now. There we go. We are through. This is soft stuff. This is brass. Very easy to drill and ream out. Much better. I ended up going up to a size 68 drill bit. The jet is probably slightly undersized from the factory. These are non-adjustable EPA carbs. So anyway, I drilled it out 2 sizes, actually 2.5 sizes or so, and that seemed to work. I will keep an eye on it, and I'll keep an eye on the spark plug, and you know, make sure it's not running rich or anything like that. You know, getting another carb for it is certainly a possibility, but it's running okay now. I think we can move on to other things like the tires and the cables. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna make this video just about the drilling of the carburetor jet and the ultrasonic cleaning, and not anything else like the wheels or the cables or anything like that. I'm gonna do that on the next video, so I'm gonna keep this video short. So I want to thank you for joining me on this part 3, I think it is, and looking forward to seeing you on part 4. As always, if you like these videos, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in a little bit.